Hi there, and welcome to our series on systems and automation. We are continuing today by having a quick chat on project management tools and automation. And so I'm really excited to dive into this just because project management tools are one of my favorite systems to set up and definitely a tool that I use on a daily basis. So let's get started. All right, so project management tools are exactly project management tools are exactly what they sound like, right? They manage your projects. Of course, they don't manage your projects on its own. It is there solely for you to input the data, the tasks, the information, the due dates, the people that are assigned, and then you work with and through that data. So a project management tool, it is a dynamic tool. It changes all the time based on the information that you input in there. I'm still very shocked and surprised most days when I leave my little systems and automations bubble and I just engage with other business owners. I'm really shocked sometimes at how many people do not use a project management tool. And it absolutely shows in the way that, they carry out their tasks and their goals and their projects during the day. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they don't use a project management tool and actually successfully carry out what they need to do. But that maybe is a really needed research project of mine or something that I just need to collect data on. So let's get started. There are a ton of project management tools that you can choose from. There is really no shortage of tools that you can dive into. Most of the tools that I'm going to mention, actually all of them, have a free plan. And many project management tools in the online space have a free plan that actually never kicks you off the free plan. I've been in business now for 3 years and I don't think I've ever paid for a project management tool. I still currently use the free versions. And any way that I want to make it more robust with, for example, Zapier, even that does not require a paid plan. So, the fact that you are on a budget or not basically wanting to spend any extra money or additional money is not really a reason to not dive into a project management tool because, like I said, most of them have a free plan. So some of the names that you will hear mentioned often is ClickUp. ClickUp is the tool that I use in the business. It's awesome. There are, one or two cons that will pop up, and it does depend on what you prefer. But I love ClickUp. I love how I can make it work for me. It doesn't, for me, it does not have as a steep learning curve as some other people have mentioned, but that is just how my brain works. And so that's how I am able to work through my day. So I use ClickUp. Other options that are available to you, there's Monday.com. If you're on YouTube, you most definitely have encountered an ad from Monday.com. That's also a really great tool, very clean interface, really nice. The automations are amazing as well. Really simple to set up and really simple to work through, which I love, especially for those who don't work in automation on a daily basis, those business owners that, sort of want to dive into their own automations. Monday.com is a really great option. So there's ClickUp, there's Monday.com. A lot of people start on Asana or Trello as well. Really great options. There is less of the robust abilities that you might find in Monday or ClickUp, but for people that just want a simple tool with not too much, airs and graces, then Asana or Trello might be a good option as well. That's not to say, sideline, that you cannot grow with those tools. It's just a really great starter tool for many people. So we've got Monday.com, ClickUp, Asana, Trello. Many people have Notion as well. They use that as a project management tool. Not my favorite, but I love it for other things. And then some people use Airtable as well. Airtable is another really great option. It's not marketed such as a project management tool, but because it's so customizable, it's another option. And then you get other apps like Workflowy. What else could be project management? There's quite a few. Just go and type it in. There are quite a few that you can use. And then some people end up using the Google Calendar as well as the Gmail together. I'm not sure how they make that work in the longer term, but some people find that a really good option for day-to-day project management, right? So let's dive into why use a project management tool. You might, think to yourself, you know what, Andrea, I have quite a few tools already in my tech stack. I'm not really looking to add to that. How is a project management tool going to benefit me? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 reasons. Reason number 1, you absolutely cannot keep everything up in your noggin. You cannot keep everything in your brain. It's impossible to memorize everything. You need a space to basically put your goals, put your projects, input the different tasks and timelines and goals. So that is what your project management tool is for. You would add all your tasks, your goals, when they are due, when you should start on them, what details are required for it. That will all be contained in your project management tool, and you can give your brain a break. Second reason why you should be using a project management tool in your business is that if you have a team, or even just one extra person assisting you in your business, or even just for yourself, but more specifically for yourself and a team member or additional team members, your project management tool will serve as your designated space, your base, where your team or yourself and the other person can sort of collaborate together. So that is the space where you will put in your list of tasks. You will automatically assign it to whomever the team member responsible is. You will add due date, any additional details, documents, links that they need, all in your project management tool. In that way, I certainly hope that you are not using your Gmail to plan your projects. I think that Gmail has its place, definitely. None of us can run our businesses without email. It has its place, but you cannot organize your projects or your launches from your inbox. Things are going to get lost, they are going to fall through the cracks, and it is as simple as signing up for a free project management tool, and you and your team can then start collaborating from that designated space. And then my third reason why you need a project management tool in your business is so that you can reverse engineer your goals. Reverse engineering, if you have not heard about it before, you probably know about it and you just don't know the term. But reverse engineering is basically starting from the end goal and working your way backwards to what your first steps needs to be. So if your end goal is a launch of some reason, for whatever it might be, this is like a huge launch season right now, this weekend going forward for Black Friday. So for example, if your end goal is the launch and you want to work your way back so that everybody on your team or yourself knows what to do to have a successful launch, then you would work through those steps in your project management tool and set due dates for yourself and expectations and all those lovely things that you add. So those are my 3 reasons for having a project management tool in your business. Number 1, you cannot memorize everything. Number 2, it serves as a designated place of contact and place of information for yourself and your team or just your other team member. And number 3, it is the ideal place to reverse engineer your goals. Now let me also say before I go forward is that project management tools are not just for business. You can absolutely use it for your personal things as well. Many people project manage weddings in a project management tool. I've project managed birthday parties in there as well for my kids, which has a lot of moving parts depending on how labor intensive they are. Birthday parties can be managed. Anything can be managed in your project management tool. Make it yours. Set up some categories, set up some goal points that you want to work through. So oftentimes people will use to do, in progress, and done or completed, but you can absolutely throw extra headings in there like in review, stuck, completed, needs more information. It is totally up to you and so customizable, and that's what we all need, because none of our businesses are the same, and so we all need something that needs to be customizable and works with us in our daily businesses. So the tool that you are going to choose is, and I always say this, it's 100% going to depend on you, how you work through the information that you have in your business. What is most important to you? Do you want to have only one or two automations at your disposal, or do you want to have something that is able to handle a lot of automations and a lot of integrations, and your team is maybe not that tech savvy? So everything that you choose as a tool in your business is going to depend on what your needs are, what your goals are, what interface you interact with the best, on how the tool looks, and as well as your budget, right? So if you sign up for a free tool, budget doesn't need to come into play, but it might, depending on how you are going to scale and expand. But that's a different conversation. And if you like, you can send me a message and we can work through that in the chat, and I don't mind even helping you to work through what would be the best tool for you. So I'm going to tell you a little story about a client that I worked with once, right? So this client that I worked with, she is a real estate investor and coach. I worked with her for a year, and I did all her funnels and her tech systems, her automations in that time. So we did quite a few launches that year. It felt like every month we were launching, but it wasn't actually. It's probably like 6 or 7 launches we did in that year. And all the launches we did was planned in Asana. Many people think that with Asana, you can just, do basic things in there, but it is definitely a tool that you can grow and scale within your business. So for this real estate investor, her entire team, myself included, we planned those launches from Asana. So once we had set up the launch template, the way we wanted it to look, what needs to be done leading up to the launch, what is done during the launch, and then what is done after the launch. That entire template was set up in Asana, and then every time we launched that year, whoever was responsible for it would just go into the tool, copy that launch template or that board or list over to the next launch, right? So already there, saving time that you don't need to go and think what are the steps that you need to go through every time you do that activity. So that was a system she had in place. So in that project management tool, each team member, like I said, knew what they needed to do. That was where we collaborated. That is where we chatted. That is where we discussed everything regarding a task or a goal that needed to be achieved. So marketing would work from there. Emails or social media, what funnels and payment options she wanted set up. I would have all that information within Asana, and if there was something that you needed to consider or something that we needed to chat through together, I would drop it in there. And then sometimes our conversations would just expand onto Slack if it was really last minute things or something that could just be sorted out in Slack. So also within Asana, we could drop any documents that the team needed to work off of or reference, any links that everyone needed access to, like, the payment card and so forth. Everyone needs access to that. So all that information was put into Asana. It was contained there. Nobody needed to run around like a headless chicken trying to find the information. It was run from there. And each launch we did raked in well over 5 figures for this real estate investor. Now, how much a launch is made is not my point. My point is that the launches were seamless. They were launched on time, minimal hiccups. Most of the hiccups we had, which were very few and far between, was perhaps tech related, or there was just like a miscommunication on 1 or 2 things. Nothing is perfect. Things do happen as launches come up, but most of it was streamlined and successful because we ran it from Asana, which was a central meeting place and a designated space for her team. So could she have had such successful launches if we weren't using a project management tool? Maybe. But it definitely would not have been as streamlined if everything was just spoken about over Gmail, or we just spoke about things in like daily or weekly meetings, and there was no space to actually capture that information and then run with whatever your tasks or goals or assignments were. So this launches were successful, and she was able to scale her coaching program that year because of the fact that her launches were successful and we were all working from basically the same space. So that is what I want you to take away from this. Her business was launches was streamlined and successful, and a team was working together in a really great way because we worked from a project management tool where everybody was kept up to speed and up to date with what was expected from them. So I just want to, before I finish off the live, I want to finish off with speaking about ways that you can automate your project management system. So you must know, if I'm speaking about a tool, I am definitely going to touch on how we can automate that tool and just make things really easy for you. So remember, my point number one of wanting to have a project management tool is that you don't want to keep everything in your mind, right? You don't want to memorize everything. It just bogs you down mentally, and eventually it affects you physically and leads to burnout. So we want to have a space where we can jot everything down and then get it off of our mind before we move on to the next thing. So within a project management tool, one of the ways that you can automate your tasks is by setting up a recurring task. So if there is something that your team or a team member or yourself you need to do every week, so say for example you would like to send out weekly status reports that your team needs to complete and send back to you, you can set up an automation in your project management tool that reminds them once a week at a specific time, hey, just a reminder, please complete your weekly status reports, and it includes the link so that they don't have to go and rummage through different documents. Another way to automate is that you could set up an automation that when a specific task is set up on a specific list or board, that this team member A is assigned to that task. Another way to automate is that when a task status is changed, so for example, you're changing a task from to-do status to in progress, then the specific person gets notified or the specific document gets created. So that's another automation. Or if you would even like to take it beyond your team and you would like to include your clients, you can have a status that goes when a task in this board or this list is changed from in progress to in review or for client, whatever your categories are, then client B gets notified that the task needs this from them, they need to upload this document, they need to make this information available. So that can be an automated task as well. So those are a number of simple automations that you can have included in your project management tool. Another great one that a lot of people love, especially if they have larger teams where you can't keep track of what everyone is doing all of the time and keep track of yourself. So another automation that is a really great one to implement is that when a due date arrives of a certain task and the task is not in a done status or it's not in a completed status, then you would like to get notified and then notify the person assigned to the task as well, so that you can start conversations as to why this task is not completed, because most likely it is affecting the longer term project. So those are some of the automations that are available for a project management tool. Of course, when you bring in Zapier or other automation, other tools that extend your automations, there are more options that become available. But like I said, again, this is going to depend on what you want for your business and how you would like it to look. Do you want to be more hands-on? Do you want to be less hands-on? It's up to you. You can always change your mind about it as well. So that's about project management tools and automation. I hope you have learned something during this video and during this live. If you have any questions about current project management tools you are using, or perhaps wanting to switch to another project management tool, or ways that you could expand your automation in your current tool, reach out to me. Don't be afraid to send me a message or comment down below if you would like to know anything, and I would be more than happy to help guide you to a different option or just basic ways that you could improve on what you currently have. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you on the next one.